Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel, Angel Says Art. Today's video, I wanted to actually do a formal intro for, which I don't always do. I kind of like to keep it a little free flowing, unless I'm doing like an art reaction video. But today I'm going to be showing you kind of like going into talking, kind of vlog style, kind of going over some things. I'm going to be doing a local art walk in my city. This one's going to be a little different because it's actually going to be smaller. And so I want to discuss like how do you be flexible when you're going to a certain event and how to be ready and how to also be flexible with adjusting how you do things, like the things that you provide, what you bring with you. How do you make most of like the space that you have? Because from what I understand it is I don't, well, first, hold on, let me say this. What to do when you don't really know much. There you go. Because I actually don't know much. I'm in communication with the person who is doing this whole thing and putting it together. However, I'm being flexible because I don't really have an answer as to where I'm going to be and where I'm going to be exhibiting things. In the past, I could have two working 6 feet tables with backdrops for my prints and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to have that this time. This is actually a small thing, and I think I'm being placed somewhere. Different restaurants and venues participate, and so artists, when you want to be a part of this, they place you in certain areas or certain restaurants, and I think they do it based on vibe and what kind of artist you are and all these things. Like a lot of thought goes into it, which I definitely appreciate. But also it seems on my end as the artist, I need to have more fluidity and really be open to kind of doing like this, and it's not so like this. I just recently organized my art cabinet, which I have a lot of videos about, like moving into this space because I used to be in a guest room. But I have since organized all of this because I have a working Etsy store. And like all of my prints and my covers and everything are in here. I have a lot of 5x7 prints, and I think that's actually what I'm going to be going with mostly this time. Because like I said, I think I have limited space. I'm going to take a few of my 8x10s, but this is going to be my opportunity to really share some of these beautiful pieces that I've made that are on 5x7s. And 5x7s usually do pretty well. They asked us to bring a couple of small paintings. I believe I'm going to take her, and I'm going to take her, and I'm probably going to take that one down there, the dragonfly. So I will take you guys with me as I begin to start collecting the things. So like today is Monday, and I'm supposed to do this on Thursday evening because the art walk takes place every second Thursday of each month during the art walk season. So I will take you with me when I start really collecting and choosing and picking what I'm going to take. It'll probably be not today. It'll be a different day. Okay, see you then. So I ended up finding out kind of the day before that the table size was 4 foot by 5 foot. I have multiple tables, so I went and pulled this one out. They said that there were bistro tables at the restaurant that we could possibly use, and I'm not willing to risk it, so I'm gonna take it. I'm just taking this container. I'm taking this, and as I have stated in some of my other art art walk or art events, I usually have these right here. I don't even know, what do you call that? I'm sorry, I don't even know. Whatever the like the things that I use to hang my prints on. Like what? I don't even know. I'm sorry guys. I have one cup of coffee this morning. I'm already like, I have this. I'm only taking three paintings, and that has all the prints in it. And then this container right here that has the rest of the stuff in it. And that's what I'm going to be taking. I guess we could call these wire hangers, right? Where you put them all together. So, of course, I decided at the very last minute that I want to make a tiny, like, postcard print for the kids area. So I decided to do Rise. Isn't he cute? He's the little gravity indicator from the Artemis trip to the moon. So cute. And of course, I decided to do that at the very last freaking minute because what am I doing if I'm not making life harder on myself? Like I said, everybody, I like making things harder on myself. Sorry about the sound. I don't have a mic on. I am feeling horrible. I literally just came from urgent care. I'm waiting for medication to come through the pharmacy. Then they tell me my medicine is not in stock and they had to reorder it. So I'm hoping this evening I will get medicine. So right now I am just running on Tylenol slash ibuprofen slash hope. And now I am on my way to get some prints done. It's literally right down the street from my house. I love the way that they do prints, but also I do not have the energy. I do not have the time to do it on my home printer, and my home printer has been giving me the blues. So I'm just going to pay the money to the people to get my prints that I just drew out this morning. I told you, I don't know why I do this. All right, here we go. Okay, honestly, it's like 2 weeks later. Why? I felt that this was the worst art event, let's call it an art event, that I've ever done. And I've done a few. Um, I've done a number, like more than a handful. So the reason it was the worst is because literally nobody came by. Like nobody. And I have to say, I don't think that's ever happened to me. At the very last minute when we were packing up, like two people came through. So I sold one print and I sold a sticker. I want to say, first and foremost, just right off the bat, this had nothing to do with the people that put this all together. It had nothing to do with like the director or anything like that. It wasn't about the planning. Like all of that actually was really good and really well put together. So there just so happened on this day to be an event that was happening with the mayor of our city was doing like a city talk. They ended up shutting down the entire main avenue, which is kind of like it's like the center. It was like the heart of where our art walk was taking place. And the hope was that that would help bring in more people. And it actually turned out to be the opposite. Thousands of people came, but they were only interested in that. And I think it was the commotion and it was overwhelming. And there was a lot going on that people just went to the local restaurants uh nearby to like eat afterwards, and then they weren't interested in doing anything else. Is placement was key in that situation, and we were placed kind of on an off street of the main avenue, and that's why it didn't work out for us because people were not venturing out past that main avenue that was shut down. Another thing I want to talk about is weather, and it is so important to be ready for weather. Now, I just want to say because this can happen to anyone doing any kind of show or event. In the email I received, it was very specific in saying that we were going to be assigned a place. I was even corresponding with the director, and I asked like, where are we going to be, because I wanted clarification on what I needed to bring, right? So I was told we had corridors with all the restaurants that we were going to be placed in, and that we could only have a certain size table, which I went over before in the beginning of the video. So because I am who I am, and I always like to have a plan B, C, D, and E, which I highly suggest you all have because it saved me. And I'm going to tell you why. We got to said restaurant and you saw the setup. We were, in fact, in a corridor, but we were outside. Now we had some cover, but so I say all that to say that the weather was beautiful. However, the wind kicked up. Now, see, if I hadn't been prepared, and I was prepared, I always take like a Ziploc bag. I've talked about this in my other videos. I take a Ziploc bag of necessities for emergencies, okay? And in that Ziploc bag, I always have packing tape, both kinds, duct tape and like clear packing tape. I always bring clips of some kind, clamps of some kind, and I always bring a double sided tape, scissors, and a bag for trash. I bring it at every event. And if I don't need it, great. But if I do, it comes in so handy. And you know who ended up needing it? It wasn't me. It was the other artists that I was there with. Their art started flying all over the place. And I was able to, oh, also, and I bring an extension cord. And also any cooling mechanisms if it's hot, any warm stuff if you need it. Like, I acclimate to whatever we're dealing with and I always have it. And the other artists actually needed the supplies I had. It wasn't me, it was them. And they were able to use what I had to secure their art to keep it from flying around. But if I hadn't had that, everybody would have been miserable. I mean, everybody. Okay. Then the next thing brings me to talking about warm, cold, all that is layers. I was this close to not bringing layers because I thought we were going to be indoors. And when that wind kicked up, it was chilly. And as the sun went down, it got colder. And even the sweater I had wasn't technically enough, but it was far better than me having nothing. I kept notes here because I wanted to make sure. A lot of vendors have to pay what they call vendor fees to whoever is running this art thing. Now, for me, it's a local thing, like I said, in my town, and people are really trying to get the arts out there to the people. And so during this season, they only charge $10. I only paid like a cover fee of $10, honestly. And I made that back with the print that I sold and the sticker that I sold, right? I mean, so it didn't cost me anything. Uh, but I have done shows where you're paying way more than that. I'm talking 60, 75, 125. And, if you're doing cons or any kind of convention, like it gets expensive. And so I just want to say, keep that in mind as well, that this is kind of a part of the game. It's a gamble that you're taking because you don't know who's going to show up. You don't know how popular it's going to be. And that's always a risk. The reason why I do these is for exposure, to get my art out there. I gain new followers for all of my social media platforms, that kind of thing. And then, people follow me on my Instagram and on here and that kind of stuff. And so I don't put a ton of energy into doing these. I say all that to say, and I suggest to you that you take that into consideration when you're thinking about doing these. You need to think about your overhead costs, right? It is not just that, it's the time and energy that it takes to prepare beforehand, the things that you have to do to get ready for them. Your travel time. Like I was 10 minutes from my house, so that wasn't a big deal. But I just a couple months ago did one in the San Francisco Bay Area, and that was a 2.5 hour drive for me. And I knew a person that knew a person. So, like, I didn't have a fee, I didn't have to pay a vendor fee, which was good. And I actually made money on that at that art market because we did really well. So that's why I'm saying you never know what you're going to get with this. So it is a gamble. Keep that in mind. I want to do it again because I realized there were circumstances in place that nobody could have predicted. And I actually want to do it again. So I already asked the director about possibly doing it again next month. And I went ahead and just asserted myself and asked her, is it possible that I could be placed at a different place? And I asked if I could be placed at my favorite restaurant in town, which is number one, my favorite restaurant. They have great craft beer and they're on the main avenue. And my daughter said when she went there to get us garlic fries because we were hungry, that vendor was making a killing. Don't be discouraged by these things. If you enjoy yourself and you enjoy doing these things, assert yourself as an artist and it doesn't hurt to ask. I hope this helped, and don't let it get you down. And yeah, those are kind of the ins and outs of what can happen when you're doing art market. So I really do hope this helped you guys. Stay creative, go out into the world, spread love, light, and peaceful energy. And we need your creativity in this world right now. We need you. Okay. All right, guys. Until next time, peace.